Hey guys, it's Salvaje. Here's my Fortnite Save the World in-depth weapon review on the Dragon's Roar. You can get this weapon from the upcoming Lunar Llamas that we're going to be getting to the game tomorrow. And you can also get this weapon from the Fortnite Week 6 challenge. And quite honestly, I absolutely believe that you need to get the Dragon's Roar if you complete the Fortnite Week 6 challenge. Anyways, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about performance and just how the weapon performs in the game in general. Oh yeah, and I do have a supporter creator code, it's Salvaje, and if you guys want to rock that, I would highly appreciate that. Okay, so the Dragon's Roar is an assault rifle that is actually pretty consistent when it comes down to the damage field. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, right? It has 20 bullets in the magazine by default, it has a really slow rate of fire, and a pretty average reload speed. On top of all that, it's always locked to the fire element. So you would think that the really slow rate of fire and the low magazine size would actually hold this weapon back. However, that's not the case. See, this weapon, even though it has a really slow rate of fire and a really low magazine size, it makes up for the two special abilities that the weapon has. And one of those special abilities is piercing bullets. So every single bullet that you fire with this weapon will pierce husk. So in other words, if there's a lot of husk grouped up together and it's Fortnite Save the World, obviously that's going to be the case most of the time. If there's a lot of husks that are grouped up together, you can actually just shoot your Dragon's Roar towards their general direction, and you're not just going to be hitting one husk with your bullet. You have a chance to actually hit multiple husks with your bullets because of the piercing ability that this weapon has. That's why the low magazine size and the slow rate of fire don't really hold this weapon back. However, I just want to point out, if you do get a little bit annoyed when it comes down to constantly trapping the trigger to like fire a weapon, you're not really going to be a huge fan of the Dragon's Roar. I guess you could also say that you might not want to use the Dragon's Roar because it's a fire element weapon, which means that it's only going to be doing about 25% of its total damage against water husk. However, that's not really much of an issue because when I'm going against water husk, I can always of course just change to a weapon. On top of all that, the piercing rounds ability that the Dragon's Roar has is actually really effective and brings a lot of utility even when you're going against water husk, because again, you're not going to be damaging just one water husk, you're going to be damaging multiple water husk. But earlier in the video, I also said that the Dragon's Roar has a second special ability, and that is Affliction. When you shoot an enemy with the Dragon's Roar, it doesn't matter if you don't have Affliction on the 6th perk, you are going to be causing affliction damage to, of course, the husk that you damage with your Dragon's Roar. And basically what this means is that they're going to be taking damage over time every time they get hit with your bullet. However, keep in mind, you're not just hitting one husk with your bullet, you're hitting multiple husks with your bullets, which means that multiple husks will be taking affliction damage. And that's what makes the Dragon's Roar such an astounding weapon. I know, some of you guys are probably thinking, Salvaje, if this is such a good weapon, why didn't you place it in your best assault rifles video? Look, simply put, I feel like if you have a Wraith assault rifle or a Paint Train assault rifle, the damage you're going to be putting out, it's going to be so huge that the Dragon's Roar just simply can't compete. And that's the only reason why the Dragon's Roar wasn't in my best assault rifles video. However, it was a weapon that for a long time I was considering putting on that list. Alright, but enough about performance, let's get straight into recommended perks. I like my Dragon's Roar with critical rating and critical damage perks because I always like being able to do that extra amount of damage. The Dragon's Roar also has a 15% base critical hit chance, which means that a max critical rating will give you a 43% chance of landing a critical damage shot. If you are in the early game, however, I can easily recommend that you guys go with damage, reload speed, and of course headshot damage for the last perk, or you could just go for another damage perk for that overall damage, and again, damage to afflicted. For the last perk, snare could be helpful. That's actually the perk that I have on my current Dragon's Roar. But throughout my testing, I realized that this last perk on this Dragon's Roar that you guys are seeing on screen increases the impact of the weapon and stuns target for 1 second. That 1 second stun applies to smashers, mist monsters, husky husk. In other words, that extra 1 second of stun that is able to stun any target can always give you that little bit of extra amount of damage to of course finish off your target. So I absolutely believe that you definitely want the impact stuns target for 1 second perk for the 6th perk. And with all of that said, guys, let's move on forward to the star rating. This weapon is easily a 5 out of 5 stars. When the hero rework comes in, if we get more characters in Fortnite Save the World, that increases the rate of fire of assault rifles or your weapon in general, I do think that the Dragon's Roar can be one of the best assault rifles in Fortnite Save the World as of mid-2019. And the reason why I say that, of course, it's because the only thing that I believe is holding this assault rifle back when it comes down to a damaging machine is the fact that the rate of fire is just a bit too slow to be a top tier weapon like the Pain Train. But again, it's still an exceptional assault rifle that you absolutely need to get your hands on. If you guys enjoyed this review, feel free to drop it a like. And of course, feel free to check out the description below for more Save the World weapon reviews and 200 Save the World tips.